What is currently happening, programs? Welcome to The Grid, where I'll be bringing you this week's news in VR. It's Friday the 19th of May 2017, and all I can say this week is it's all happening. Soon, trademark. We've got Half-Life 2 VR Greenlight, the future of mobile VR, Oculus advancements in VR tech, Grav Lab, Evangelion, Family Guy, Rick and Morty, and much more. Today, I'm going to cover off the main events to keep you in the loop. So stay locked, crush that like button, enjoy, and welcome to The Grid.
What is currently happening, YouTube? Facepalm here, your friend in Oz and NZ, bringing you reviews, tutorials, and game clips, minus the shit. You can follow me on Twitter at Facepalm with a 1, not an L. As for here on YouTube, if you like what you find, then like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to bring your game face. Let's get it done.
Half-Life 2 VR was greenlit by Steam in record time at the beginning of this week, thanks to the support of 15,769 voters, 95% of which voted yes. Which begs the question, who the fuck would go out of their way to find this on Greenlight and vote no? Seriously.
Get the fuck out of here, fuck you!
With the Greenlight go-ahead, this means that Half-Life 2 VR will see an official Steam release, which makes it a lot easier for the developers to build and for users to install and update once the game is released. We still don't have a concrete release date of when this will be exactly, though Wormslayer, who is the dev of the original Half-Life VR, said that it will be months and not years before the release, and we can expect it soon. Trademark. In all fairness though, I actually don't mind waiting a little more, provided this doesn't end up like a Half-Life 3 type scenario, though I highly doubt it will, and going by the looks of what the boys have cooked up already, this will be worth the little extra wait. What we do know so far about this release is that in order to play it, you will need a copy of Half-Life 2 as well as a copy of Episode 1 and 2, and that's because the team have updated the textures and graphics of the original game using a lot of the assets from Episode 1 and 2. Episode 1 and 2 will be playable in VR in a later update, and high-def texture packs will be included and continually updated as they go along. Lefty support has already been implemented, so if you swing that way, then worry not, and the mod will natively support the Oculus SDK, which means that things like ASW and other Rift-specific performance improvements will work as you'd expect. Also, at this point, I'd like to say thanks to all the people that clicked the link from last week's video and gave the Greenlight a thumbs up. It's literally that type of support that shows companies like Valve that we mean business when it comes to VR, and the numbers from the Greenlight campaign are a direct reflection of that. So thanks to you specifically, and also to anyone else tuning in who voted after hearing about it from somewhere else. Legends. Also this week, at Google's I/O Developer Conference, Google has announced that we will see standalone Daydream units from both HTC and Lenovo later this year, based on Qualcomm's 835 VR platform. And you may be thinking, well, the Gear VR is a standalone mobile VR headset. Is this just another one of those? Well, not quite, as the Gear VR requires a smartphone to operate, where these units will operate by themselves with no PC required, so completely standalone. HTC has said that they are perfectly positioned to deliver the most premium standalone headset and user experience. And going by the teaser video, it looks like the unit will have a sleek new head strap that looks pretty damn comfy in a premium hybrid Vive Rift kind of way, whereas Lenovo will be using a head strap similar to that of the PSVR. The units will use Google's WorldSense 6 degrees of freedom inside-out tracking, meaning the motion sensors are built into the headset, which means that as well as looking around, you can also bang your head on objects and run into walls without worrying about those pesky cables. And they look like they'll come with a Daydream style remote, which isn't bad per se, but these remotes aren't designed for hand tracking, and so will likely function like an Oculus/Daydream remote, where they are predominantly used for navigation navigating menus. Pricing is set to be around the same as a Rift and Vive, which sort of puts it in a weird spot because people with capable PCs will likely just go a Rift or Vive for that extra graphical power. However, this could fit nicely into the corporate or education sector where graphics don't necessarily need to be cutting edge. The headsets are scheduled for a release later this year, and with Google announcing that Samsung's S8 range of mobile phones will soon be compatible with the Daydream platform also, this could be the push that Daydream VR needs to succeed. On the tech side of things, Oculus Research has announced a new groundbreaking focal surface display, which essentially mimics the way our eyes focus on certain objects at varying distances. For example, if you hold your finger close to your face and look at it, then things in the background go blurry. And if you focus on the things in the background instead, then your finger goes blurry. Currently, VR headsets don't work like this because the screen is a fixed distance from the lens, and so your eye focuses on everything at once. This technology adds an extra element in between the screen and the eyepiece that changes the way light comes into the display to bend the headset's focus around 3D objects. This essentially increases depth and maximizes the amount of space represented at one time. The tech is a little way off, but in combination with foveated rendering and eye tracking, which I mentioned in the Grid episode 10 from the 5th of May, will bring about a much more accurately immersive result, closer to what we experience in real life when we look at objects. Very cool. And back on the gaming side of things, Grav Lab has finally come out of early access and popped up on Oculus Home and Steam as version 1.0. It brings 7 new levels with 3 difficulty settings each and around 5 hours of playtime. And if you don't know, Grav Lab is a physics and electronic circuit puzzle game for the Vive and Rift that puts you in a gravitational testing facility where you are required to solve a series of physics-based puzzles by using a range of tools and items in order to get some balls into some containers. Now, I've got no idea why, but this kind of reminds me of Marble Madness on roids in VR, if Marble Madness had sex with Portal and Portal 2 in a steamy 3-way on Pluto. But that's just me. If you like puzzle games and you like creating puzzles for others, then for around $20 US, this is an awesome little buy. Bandai Namco has announced an Evangelion VR experience called the Soul Seat, which will appear at Bandai Namco's VR Amusement Zone Center in Shinjuku. And essentially, you must pilot an EVA unit to battle the angels as the regular pilots have fucked off somewhere in this time of crisis, which sounds like something Shinji would do, though I have to wonder why Rei isn't getting stuck in like the enigmatic workhorse she is. So if you've ever wanted to show Shinji how to not be a whiny little bitch, then now is your chance to step up and feel the weight of piloting an EVA, if you're swinging by Tokyo, that is. Valve has stepped up to the plate and updated the SteamVR experience to a richer, more interactive and social launch area called SteamVR Home, which sounds familiar, but is definitely an awesome update for Vive and Rift users alike. The update includes heavy customization of environments, which can now include sound, animations, games, and interactivity at higher resolutions than before. Voice chat is there, tools, props, and the ability to customize your avatar in different accessories and colors. The update is available now for people who have opted into SteamVR Beta, and I for one love this move, as socializing in VR is definitely something I'm excited about. And on the SteamVR side of things, a program by the name of Special K has recreated the living room of Peter, Lois, Brian, Stewie, Chris, and the ugly one, what's its face, from Family Guy. It's free, looks great, and you can just hang out in there and check it out from a first-person perspective. Special K is a handful of other creations just like this, including the diner from Bob's Burgers and a couple of locations from Futurama. And if you want to go and check those out, then check the description for a link to these environments in Special K's Steam Workshop. All you need to do is hit subscribe, fire up SteamVR, and go to your settings, customize, environment, and you're good to go. And yes, this works for Rift users also, and I highly recommend giving it a go if you're a fan of the cartoon series. Also, if you're a fan of the Rick and Morty cartoon series, the virtual Rick-ality VR game has had an update this week.
Oh shit, motherfucker!
Which includes a handful of bug fixes, tweaks, and also support for those of you with smaller play spaces, which is awesome because since I upgraded studios, the trade-off was a little less space that wouldn't quite be considered big enough for room scale. So this update is a very welcome one for me personally, and I'm sure there are a lot of other people out there who would benefit from this also. The Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Rust Map has been remade and is a free DLC map for the VR first-person shooter Pavlov on Steam. This is a must-buy in my opinion for any long-time COD players who know the map well and want to get blasted by nostalgia. And no, that's not a euphemism. Pavlov is $10 and there are plenty of Rift and Vive users active on this game right now. And the developer is constantly updating this experience, so you could definitely do a lot worse for your 60 smidgens. And if you've been waiting for Call of Duty VR, this is pretty damn close at this stage, so get your best rage quit face and be prepared to tell people to get riggedy wrecked, son! But just know that you are the problem with gaming. And finally, Oculus is allowing users to change their usernames without having to hassle support for the change. So now that username with all those capital X's and 420s in it that you created when you thought it was cool last year can be updated at your leisure. With this Oculus feature, you can change the actual username tied to your account. So go nuts. XXX 420 blaze it faggot XXX. And that's this week in VR on the grid. If you have more you would like to add, then hit me up in the comments below and let's discuss. And if you like this video, then crush that like button, hit the XO logo to subscribe if you want to see more content, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!